Hello and welcome to another episode of Literature Podcast with Susan. Today we'll explore a topic that is becoming increasingly relevant in our current society, ecocriticism. In this context, we will discuss how literature can help us understand our relationship with the natural world in a much deeper sense and shed light on environmental issues that we, as a global community, are grappling with. Ecocriticism is an interdisciplinary approach that investigates the relationship between literature and the physical environment, taking an Earth-centered approach to literary studies. As a concept, it began gaining ground in the 1970s and 80s, and since then, it has evolved and grown to encompass a variety of perspectives regarding nature and the environment as portrayed in literature. A significant work in the world of ecocriticism is The Overstories by Richard Powers. The novel brings to life the world of trees and presents them as central characters, guiding the narrative's flow. It raises profound questions about humans' relationship with nature, drawing attention to the ecological crisis that trees face today. This book underscores the notion that human beings are an integral part of nature, not separate or superior. Shifting our attention to classic literature, Henry David Thoreau's Walden presents a profound exploration of nature and solitude. Thoreau's 2-year sojourn in a self-built cabin near Walden Pond has become a powerful symbol of resistance against mindless consumerism and the reckless exploitation of nature. Thoreau's profound reflections on nature, life, and society serve as a clarion call for sustainability and stewardship. Another groundbreaking work in this genre is Aldo Leopold's A Sand County Almanac. Leopold's writings on nature conservation, biodiversity, and ethical land use have laid the groundwork for modern environmental ethics. His vision of a land ethics that guides human actions towards the environment remains crucial in today's discourse on sustainability. In contemporary literature, Margaret Atwood's Mad Dad trilogy shines a light on the potential aftermath of environmental neglect. It is a stark, dystopian view of the future where genetic engineering and climate change have transformed life as we know it. Despite the bleak setting, Atwood's work emphasizes the power of storytelling, human resilience, and the possibility of redemption. Ecocriticism does more than just reiterate the urgent need for conservation and sustainable living. It compels readers to reflect upon their relationship with the environment, prompting a cognitive and emotional response. Literature serves as a bridge, connecting us with a natural world, leading us towards empathy and respect for all life forms. In conclusion, the field of ecocriticism allows us to examine literature in a novel and relevant way. It fosters a deeper understanding of environmental issues, highlighting the significance of our interactions with the natural world. By incorporating this green lens into our reading, we can aspire to be more conscious inhabitants of our planet, opening ourselves to new perspectives that inspire change. Moving on to a more contemporary piece, we have Barbara Kingsolver's Flight Behavior. This novel explores the impact of climate change on the monarch butterfly population, illustrating the wide-ranging effects of global warming. The protagonist, Delarobia Turnbow, discovers a vast congregation of monarch butterflies in her rural Tennessee town, mistaking it initially for a miraculous divine vision. As the narrative unfolds, it becomes clear that the butterfly migration is a result of climate disruption. Through Delarobia's eyes, Kingsolver skillfully presents the human side of the climate crisis, often overlooked in debates that focus on data and politics. Her narrative drives home the reality that climate change isn't just an abstract scientific concept. It affects real lives in significant and sometimes devastating ways. This novel, with its vivid characters and gripping plot, exemplifies the potential of literature to make environmental issues more tangible and relatable to a broad audience. On the topic of climate fiction, or cli-fi, we can't miss discussing Paolo Bacigalupi's The Water Knife. Set in a dystopian future, the novel imagines the southwestern United States in a time of extreme water scarcity. The narrative presents a grim warning about the consequences of unchecked water consumption and presents the environmental, social, and political implications of a world where water, the most essential resource for life, becomes a privilege of the wealthy. Delving into poetry, we have Mary Oliver's work, which is replete with observations and reflections on nature. Her poems inspire readers to look closely at the world around them, finding beauty and wisdom in the natural environment. A Pulitzer Prize-winning poet, Oliver's writings beautifully evoke the sense of wonder that nature inspires and the spiritual lessons it can teach us. A reading of her work through an ecocritical lens can remind us of the need to appreciate and preserve the beauty of the natural world. Ecocriticism is also relevant when studying children's literature. Take, for instance, Dr. Seuss's The Lorax, a book that introduces young readers to environmental issues. The Lorax, who speaks for the trees, is a figure of resistance against the once Lear's destructive greed. Through this compelling narrative, children learn about the consequences of reckless consumption and the importance of conservation. The genre of speculative fiction, which includes science fiction and fantasy, also offers a plethora of material for ecocritical analysis. Ursula K. Le Guin's The Word for World is forest, for example, addresses themes of colonialism and environmental exploitation through the lens of an alien society. Lastly, let's take a moment to consider the critical role Indigenous literature plays in the ecocritical landscape. Indigenous authors around the world are writing powerful works that illuminate their unique relationships with the land, challenge colonial narratives, and advocate for environmental justice. For instance, Robin Wall Kimmerer's Braiding Sweetgrass combines Indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and personal narrative to envision a world where humans and nature exist in mutual reciprocity. Speaking of Indigenous literature, we must mention Linda Hogan, a Native American writer who weaves together the natural world and Indigenous culture in her narratives. One of her best-known works, Solar Storms, provides a vivid portrayal of the intimate relationship between Indigenous communities and the environment. The book explores the environmental and cultural disruption caused by hydroelectric development in the traditional territories of Native communities. Hogan's writing helps us reflect on the catastrophic consequences of human intervention in nature, especially on Indigenous lands and lives. Then we have the iconic environmentalist and writer Rachel Carson, whose groundbreaking book Silent Spring marked a turning point in public awareness about the environmental impact of chemical pesticides. Although not a work of fiction, Carson's detailed and accessible narrative transformed scientific research into a compelling story about the interconnectedness of all life and the potential consequences of human interference with natural processes. But literature isn't just about illustrating the negative impacts humans can have on the environment. It can also inspire positive change. Ecocriticism encourages us to look at how literature can help foster a deeper connection with the natural world, promoting conservation and sustainability. Many works of nature writing, such as those by Henry David Thoreau, John Muir, and Aldo Leopold, provide a powerful testament to the beauty of nature and the importance of preserving it for future generations. Exploring the theme of interconnectedness, let's discuss the work of Richard Powers, specifically his novel, The Overstory. In it, Powers presents a compelling narrative centered around trees, weaving together the stories of various characters, each with their unique relationship with these majestic life forms. The novel urges readers to reconsider their perception of the natural world and highlights the interdependence of all life forms. Powers' novel is a call to recognize and respect the rights of nature, underscoring the need for a more ecocentric worldview. Moreover, dystopian fiction often brings out the potential consequences of our negligence towards the environment. Margaret Atwood's Oryx and Craigs and The Year of the Flood portray a dystopian future brought about by genetic engineering and environmental destruction. Atwood's complex characters and intricate plots compel us to question the direction in which our society is heading, making her works critical for any eco-critical discussion. Staying with speculative fiction, we move to Octavia Butler's Parables series, which introduces us to a world where climate change has ravaged society. Butler's narrative skillfully intertwines themes of race, gender, and environmental justice, offering a deep critique of hierarchical and exploitative social structures. In all these examples, literature serves as a potent tool to make readers more aware of environmental issues, inspiring us to take action towards sustainability. After all, literature at its best holds up a mirror to society, forcing us to confront our own actions and their repercussions. Ecocriticism also compels us to consider the animals and non-human beings that are often forgotten in our human-centered narratives. Books such as The Lives of Animals by J. Coetzee and The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway allow us to empathize with a non-human perspective, reminding us that we share this planet with many other forms of life. This, in turn, encourages readers to develop more compassionate attitudes towards animals and the environment. Taking a global perspective, there's the genre of post-colonial ecocriticism, which analyses how colonial processes have impacted our relationship with the environment. Works like The Hungry Tide by Amitav Ghosh or The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy offer a critique of Western models of development and progress, which often lead to environmental degradation and ignore indigenous knowledge systems. Then there's the rise of cli-fi or climate fiction, which includes works like The Water Will Come, Rising Seas, Sinking Cities, and the remaking of The Civilized World by Jeff Goodall, and The Great Derangement, Climate Change, and The Unthinkable by Amitav Ghosh. These works focus on the dystopian future we might face due to climate change and serve as a warning about the urgent need for action. Literature in all its forms has a significant role to play in shaping our environmental consciousness. It can offer cautionary tales, promote alternative ways of living, and inspire us to become more aware and respectful of our surroundings. It's not just about reading stories, it's about using those stories as a stepping stone to understand, appreciate, and conserve our world. In the next episode, we will continue to delve deeper into the realm of literature and sustainability, with a focus on the writers of today who are using their words to advocate for the planet. Thank you all for joining me on this journey, and until next time, keep reading, keep exploring, and keep connecting with our incredible natural world through the written words. This is Susan, signing off from Literature Uncovered, the podcast where we delve deep into the world of books and the ideas they inspire.